All right. I am logging on a little bit early here for our live to give people a chance to log on before we actually get started. So let's see, make sure I got the comments on. Okay, I am on. Comments, yep, that's on too. All right. Day 4 today of our Do It for a Day challenge. Let me just adjust this here a little bit. There goes my speaker. Not good. Not good. All right. Let's see. Oh, 1 more minute till we are at the top of the hour. Okay. Good morning, everybody that is catching this live. I did notice the other day that when I got off the live, that there were actually comments and people on there that I hadn't seen. So I am not catching everything here on my end. Let me see if I go here, turn this way down. Okay. Oh, that might work. Yeah, see, okay. Now, somebody just did a thumbs up. Oh, okay. There. Now I think there's a couple people on. Okay, well, see, this is the whole deal with social media. Is just you just never know. So if you are on here live, let's have you just say good morning or something in the comments. Just so I know you're here. I always like to see who's joining us. Oh, hello to Malawi. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so it is top of the hour. Yes, it is. We're going to get started. So welcome to day 4 of our Do It for a Day challenge. And those of you that have been with us for a few years now, hey, good morning, Nancy. Those of you that have been with us for a few years now know that we've actually did challenges quite a few different times. So this is a new one, though. This is a new challenge that we've never did before. If you are catching this live, again, throw in the comments that you're here. I just love to see who's joining us. But again, this whole, sometimes I don't see the comments till after or who's on here. So anyway, if Gary is on, hopefully, yes, he is. He can respond probably to you guys better than I can. So I wanted to say real quick before we get started, just a few things. Again, if we have quite a few people that are watching the replays. The best place for the replay. So if today is the first day that you've caught this and we're on day 4 and you think, oh, I've missed days 1 to 3. Okay, the best place, now it's not the only place, but the best place to catch the replays is on our website. And if you say why, because number 1, Facebook does remove them. They just remove lives after, I think it's 30 days. So, I mean, before 30 days, you still could find them. But the other reason I say that is because on Facebook, if we post about different things, it jumbles all the posts, right? So they're not nice and in order. So the website is. So if you go to the website, and at the top of the homepage, there's a tab at the top in the menu bar that says messages. Click on that, and then they're all in order. Day 1, day 2, day 3. That is the best place. You can also, I haven't even mentioned this yet, you can also, if you're a YouTube person, they're all listed there as well. And they are listed under our playlists. So if if you're a YouTuber and you love how YouTube works, they are in order there as well, but I haven't really been sending anybody there because that's like too many things. So anyway, that's the greatest place to catch the replays. Now, you are welcome to catch the replays if you're just jumping on day 4, or if you want to repeat, right? What I like to tell people is just have it playing in the background as you're cooking or doing your hair or whatever, right? If you want to catch up, you don't have to sit and watch me per se. Or fast forward through this beginning part where we're just going over housekeeping and things like that. Okay, so that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. And if you have people that you want to invite, right? If you know somebody that would enjoy or maybe not enjoy, but needs this challenge, you know what? It doesn't matter that we're on day 4. They can still join, and that's how they can catch up, right? Because this challenge isn't just about you coming on this live, right? The biggest piece of this challenge is what you hear and then what you do with what you hear. And that happens on your own time, right? That doesn't happen during this time, right? So anybody can join at any time, and the replays, they can catch up. Okay, let's do a quick review. Let's use the comments. Does anybody remember what day 1 was called? Day 1 was wade into the water, right? Day 2 was take the stairs. And yesterday was get off the grid. All right, today is lick the honey. I have read today's day before, but I can't remember what it means. So we'll find that out in a minute. In the comments, I want you to, remember I'm telling you every day, take notes. Have a notepad, have a pen handy, because there's going to be little tidbits either that I read or that I talk about that you're going to be like, oh, that is so amazing. And you're going to think you're going to remember it, and you don't. So write it down. Okay, some things from yesterday that we learned is harder is better and slower is faster. That's not really great news initially to our ears, but that's the truth. We're talking about habits being 3M. That's kind of something that I want you to remember. Habits should be 3M. What are the 3Ms? Does anybody remember? Throw in the comments. Measurable, meaningful, and what was my favorite? Maintainable. They have to be maintainable, right? 3M. I like how he said, as a pastor and a writer, that his job is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. I thought that was funny because that's kind of my job, I think, in this challenge. We talked about a change of pace plus a change of place equals a change of perspective. I liked that. I liked this quote from Corrie ten Boom. She said, if the devil cannot make us bad, he will make us busy. Thought that was good. Oh, and the last thing, he talked about yesterday how him and his wife, because it was get off the grid, right? So he talked about how they get away once a year to plan for the next year, right? And they budget and they calendar things in. But the word that when I read all about that yesterday was intentional. They are learning to be intentional with their time, right? Not just let whatever come what may, right? For our whole life. Now, sometimes things happen, right? That we didn't plan or whatever, and that's okay, right? That's life. We have to be flexible, but there has to be some point, some areas of our life where we are intentional and put some thought into it, right? Into goals and habits, right? I heard another lady say, what doesn't get planned, okay, it's gone. It'll come back. It will come back. I don't even know what the quote was. It came and went, you guys. Anyway, it will come back, I promise, before the day's up. Okay, I think that was it for reviewing. For anything else I wanted to talk about? Yeah. Oh, last thing. I wanted to show you a little how this works. Okay, so this is the consistency sheets that I was telling you about, that if you're interested, I mean, you might have your own way of keeping track, but if you're interested in the one that works for me, and I've tried a ton, I've got a free PDF that I can send you if you email me your email. But I just wanted to show you sort of how it works, so I'm going to get real close. So this one is my Bible reading, right? And remember, in the Facebook group, you'll see that we're doing the Bible reading that we're doing for the year is chronological, right? And I already talked about all that in the group, so I'm not going to take time here to do it, but this is how I keep track. So this is a year at a glance. All the months are listed up here, and then these are all the days. So I've already blocked in. Now, so you can see that there's a day here not marked. Okay, depending on the habit, sometimes that stays unmarked. But what I also do for this particular habit of reading my Bible is I don't just not read it. I add those chapters on to the next day. So then I can mark it. Now, you can't do that with push-ups. For me, right? You either do them that day or you don't. But that's just something I do with the reading your Bible. But you can see, right? Anytime I actually accomplished that habit that day, I pencil it in. So, we're just getting into the month. And so it doesn't look like much. But when you've got a few months of blocks filled in and you look at this and you say, oh my gosh. So say you had a habit that you wanted to, okay, Bible reading, for example, right? And you look, and the first 2 weeks of February, nothing is marked. And you think back and you think, well, yeah, no, I didn't do it. Well, why? Then you can say, oh, this happened, that happened. And it just helps us to track what is tripping us up, right? Because we've already decided that whatever habits we're wanting to implement or whatever, that they matter, right? We talked about that on day one, I think, right? You have to decide, does it really matter? Because if you're out to, implement change, there's going to be plenty of obstacles to distract you. So if you haven't decided ahead of time that this matters, whether I do it or not, the distractions come. And like I said, you look at the sheet and you go, oh my gosh, I was doing really good till June. And then from June on, wow, it was like hit and miss, hit and miss. So what happened? What happened in June? And is that something that I can see was a definite distraction from the enemy and I fell for it? Like what, and then we don't have, we can change that, right? When it comes again, when the enemy comes knocking again with that distraction, we can say, no, not going that way, right? So anyway, that's available if you want it. You have to print it out, but if you want the PDF, I will send that to you if you let me know your email. Okay, that is it. Let's get started. Day 4. So day 4's scripture is Habakkuk 2:2. This is a pretty familiar scripture to most people. Write the vision and make it plain upon tablets. In 1965, a social psychologist named Howard Leventhal designed 4 pamphlets for the purpose of promoting the tetanus vaccine among Yale University seniors. Tetanus is a bacterial infection that bonds to nerve endings, causing muscle spasms so severe that they can break bones. Those pamphlets were divided into two categories: low fear and high fear. What was the difference? The low fear pamphlets had no pictures. The high fear pamphlet included rather shocking photographs of those that had suffered the side effects of tetanus. Not surprisingly, twice as many students who received the high fear pamphlet indicated that they were going to go get vaccinated. Fear is a powerful motivator, but evidently it's not powerful enough to guarantee follow through. There was only a 1% difference in the rate of vaccination among the low fear and the high fear students. But Leventhal had added a second variable that proved to be far more powerful than good old-fashioned fear. Along with low fear and high fear designations, the pamphlets were divided into low specificity and high specificity categories. It's way too early for that tongue twister of a word. The non-specific pamphlet advocated for the vaccine, but it didn't specify when or where or how. The high specificity pamphlet included a campus map, as well as the hours and the location of the health center where students should go. The results: only 3% of the low specificity students got the vaccination, but the success rate among the high specificity students was 10 times higher. 30% of them got the tetanus vaccine. So what was the silver bullet? Specificity. I'm telling you, blah, blah, blah. It's too early. And the thing is it still is. That is still the silver bullet. The technical term is called implementation intention, and it's critical when it comes to making or breaking habits. If you don't specify when, where, and how, good luck with that, because luck is what you're going to need. Imagine setting up an appointment with someone and asking them when and where they want to meet. The reply, whenever, wherever. The flexibility is much appreciated, but that meeting ain't never going to happen, is it? Good intentions are good, but they aren't good enough. Remember 3M? We just talked about it in our review. Measurable, meaningful, and maintainable. That's what our habits have to be, right? 3M. One key to making your habits maintainable is the slogan at the end of every episode of the original Batman TV series. Same bat time, same bat channel. Make an appointment with yourself. For what? For everything. Schedule date nights, gym time, and personal retreats. No, you don't have to schedule the bathroom time. That's taking it probably too far. But generally speaking, if it's not in your calendar, it's not going to happen. That was the quote that I was thinking of. If it's not in your calendar, what gets scheduled gets done. See, I knew it would come. In the field of behavioral economics, nudge theory analyzes the very small prompts can have a major impact on behavior. Remember the piano stairs from day 2? They're a classic example of what DJ Stewart called the art of the nudge. It's identifying the prompts that interrupt the pattern, which is more than half the battle when it comes to habit formation. If you visit the men's restrooms at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, you'll see that an image of a black housefly is sketched in the urinals. According to Aid Kieboom, the man responsible for the addition of the flies, if a man sees a fly, he aims at it. Duly noted. And for the record, that picture of the fly has reduced spillage by 80%. Wow. Aid Kieboom, he is a choice architect. Truth be told, all of us are. As parents, we cue our kids via choice architecture all the time. How? We turn vegetables into airplanes and we fly them into their mouths. Our tactics get more sophisticated as they age, and we resort to things like reverse psychology. But the principle of choice architecture remains the same. We engineer ways of incentive. Oh my gosh, I should have went over this to make sure there was no big words for Tanya. We engineer ways of incentivizing, that's the word, or disincentivizing different behaviors. Oh my word, I normally don't struggle with words. Of course, we do the same thing with ourselves. It's the third phase of the habit cycle. Imagine the prize, and it is the key to self-motivation. Richard Thaler and Case Sunstein shared a fascinating example of choice architecture in their brilliant book, Nudge. In Chicago, there is a dangerous stretch of highway there where Lakeshore Drive takes a tight turn at Oak Street. When I was a student at the University of Chicago, I made that drive many times. The Department of Transportation tried to curb accidents by installing a sign that said dangerous curve ahead. It had very little effect on the accident rate. In 2006, they took a different tack. A series of lines were painted on Lakeshore Drive that had a subconscious effect on drivers. As cars approach the curve, the gaps between the lines get smaller, giving the impression that cars are going faster. The lines are a subconscious cue that causes drivers to slow down. The result, a 30% reduction in accidents. That's cool. How do we implement these kinds of prompts when it comes to habit formation? How do we nudge ourselves and others? How do we architect cues for the students that we teach, the athletes that we coach, and the children that we parent? How do we reverse engineer our environments to maximize good habits and minimize the bad? Nudge theory may be new, but the idea is as old as the Torah. If you lived in Judea in the 1st century, your formal education would begin at the age of 6 in the local synagogue called Bet Sefer. The first lesson, the rabbi would cover the students' slates with honey and instruct them to lick the honey while reciting Psalm 119, 103. How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth. The teacher was creating a positive association, a positive addiction. The goal was to catalyze a craving for the Word of God, helping students taste and see that the Lord is good. What do you think those students thought of every time they tasted honey? It was their first lesson, and it left a lasting taste in their mouths. Fun fact, honey is the only food that lasts forever. It will crystallize over time, but the nectar from flowers, combined with the enzymes inside bees, creates a chemistry that is non-perishable. There is an old adage, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That's true, but you can salt the oats. Are you picking up what I'm throwing down? Habit formation doesn't just reroute neuronal connections, it creates new cravings. The key is feeding good cravings while starving bad ones. I like that. When Randy Pausch worked at Carnegie Mellon University, he served as an academic reviewer. Getting professors to read and review densely written research papers was as hard as herding cats. Pausch got tired of nagging professors who were past due, so he came up with a unique way of nudging them. He sent a note and a box of Girl Scout thin mint cookies with every paper that needed to be reviewed. Thank you for agreeing to do this. The enclosed Thin Mints are your reward. but no fair eating them until you review the paper. Brilliant, right? Not only did that put a smile on their faces, but it also created a craving. Instead of pestering those professors, all he had to do was ask them a question. Did you eat the Thin Mints yet? Remember B.F. Skinner that we talked about in chapter 1? He believed that behavioral cues fall into two basic categories, aversive and reinforcing. When it comes to making good habits, you have to reinforce them with the right prompts. You have to dangle a carrot, or even better, Thin Mint cookies. When it comes to breaking bad habits, aversive stimuli are an effective stopgap. When I was in junior high, I was a compulsive nail biter. How did I break the habit? I started wearing clear nail polish that makes you sick to your stomach if you ingest it. That aversive stimulus was an effective short-term strategy, but there is a better way to recycle your bad habits. It's called habit switching. It's breaking a bad habit by replacing it with a good one. Addiction is not all bad, said Dr. William Glasser in his book, Positive Addiction. Negative addictions destroy our lives one drink, one click, one hit at a time. Positive addictions have the opposite effect. In a sense, all of us are addicts. The question is this: are those addictions positive or negative, healthy or unhealthy, holy or unholy? You can break a bad habit by not doing it, and it might work for a week or two, but that's not a long-term solution. Spiritually speaking, you don't stop sinning by not sinning. That's like someone saying, don't think about the Jolly Green Giant. Well, what image just popped into your head? The Jolly Green Giant. In psychology, it's called a double bind. If I say to you, be spontaneous, you actually can't be. It creates a no-win situation, and the same goes for every temptation we face. I wish it were just as easy as just say no, but it's not. You need a yes that is bigger and better than the no. You need a vision that is bigger and better than the obstacle you're trying to overcome. That's where habit switching enters the equation. Habit switching is replacing a bad habit with a good one, and it takes time and effort. According to Dr. Glasser, cultivating a positive addiction requires a minimum of 40 to 60 minutes a day, and it might take 6 months or longer. Of course, 30 days gives us a running start. Don't get overwhelmed by how long it might take. Do it for a day. Habit formation is choice architecture, and choice architecture is all about creating the right cues, the right cravings. You have to change your default settings by making pre-decisions. The decisions you make before you have to make a decision. Not only do pre-decisions reduce decision fatigue, they also have a domino effect. Is there a pre-decision that you need to make? Is there a default setting that you need to change? Is there a prompt you need to put into place? When Laura and I got married, we decided that we would never not tithe. We don't make that decision every time we get a paycheck. That would be exhausting. We made that pre-decision on day one, and it has had a domino effect. Budgeting is a great example of choice architecture. It creates default settings by establishing boundaries and priorities. It's also an example of implementation intention. The same goes for calendaring. If you don't pre-decide how you're going to use your time, someone else will. Let me say that again for myself. If you don't pre-decide how you're going to spend your time, use your time, someone else actually will. Your bank statement and your calendar don't lie. They reveal what your core values really are. So, how do I make it a habit? This is my favorite part. And if you've been around me for a while, you have heard this before. Put it in writing. That principle has 100 applications, but putting things in writing has two primary benefits. The first is clarity. The process of putting things on paper forces us to be precise. It's the way we take our thoughts captive with the 26 letters of the English alphabet and make them obedient to Christ. That goes for goals as well as gratitude. The second effect is memory. Writing things down has a generation effect. We demonstrate better memory for the things we've written down than things that we've simply read. The shortest pencil is longer than the longest memory. The shortest pencil is longer than the longest memory. Writing encodes things into long-term memory. Are your life goals in writing? How about your core values? What about your personal definition of success? Do you keep a gratitude journal? Do you keep a prayer journal? In the Deuteronomic Code, a curious command is given to ancient Jewish kings. When he takes the throne of his kingdom, he is to write for himself on a scroll a copy of this law. The king had places to go and things to do. Why take the time to write out the entire Torah in longhand? Was that really necessary? The answer is embedded in the amendment. So that he may learn to revere the Lord his God and follow carefully all the words of the law. Wow, that is amazing. I call this the king habit, and it involved 3 provisions. First, the king had to write out the Torah. Second, the king had to keep that copy on his person at all times. Third, the king had to read from it daily. I'll give you a pass on the first provision. If you have a smartphone, the second provision is as simply as downloading a digital Bible. The key is the third provision, and it's the best way to put it into practice as a daily Bible reading plan. It's one of the best pre-decisions you'll ever make. Not only does it serve as preventative medicine, it creates a craving for God's word. Lick the honey. Oh, that was good today, wasn't it? Oh my goodness. Wow. And how cool that the one habit I talked about earlier was the habit of our Bible reading, because that's the one he talks about, right? And we are predetermining. So I predetermined before January 1st even came about, because I predetermined it last year, or, however many years ago, but I'm keeping track, right? That I'm doing this. Like I don't have to decide every day, oh, what am I doing today? For this one habit, I have predetermined this is not optional. This is not optional. Now, do I beat myself up when it doesn't happen? No, but pick yourself up. And you know what this is just something I'm throwing in real quick. Be quick to pivot when we do. I don't like to use the word mess up, but when you decide habits that we want to build, what happens when we don't get them done one day? Do we beat ourselves up about it? Or even day 2? No, but as soon as you remember, as soon as that comes back into your mind, be quick to pivot and get back with whatever that is that you're wanting to implement. Because the more days that go by with you not doing it, then it gets harder and harder to shift. So I tell myself and anybody that I ever talk to, let's be quick to pivot and get back to those things that we have already predetermined matters, right? Whether it's in the area of our finances, whether it's personal goals that we have, maybe it's relational goals. Like here's one, for example, if you've determined that this year you want to be closer with your adult children, right? Just for an example, you have adult children that live away from you, but you've made it a goal that you want to connect with them more this year than ever. So you boil that down to, what does that look like daily? What does that look like weekly? Well, maybe that looks like a weekly text message, a daily text. Like, I don't know what that is for you, but you've made that you've taken that goal and you've brought it down to a habit. Weekly, I'm going to do this, right? So what do you do when you forget one week, right? I strongly urge you to pivot quick so that the next week, because if 4 weeks go by, it just is harder. It's not impossible, but it is harder. So anyway, that's what this is for. Again, if you want it, we need your email and we will send that to you. You have to print it off. All right. Thank you for joining us on day 4, everybody. Good to see some new people. Vance, you're here again. Good to see you. Fury, good to see you. Okay, you sent your email. I will send that to you. You have to print it off, but I will get that to you today. Good to see you. And again, welcome to all of our people that are watching the replays. We have quite a few that are in different time zones, but they're watching them, because this isn't about me and live. This is about what it's doing in your life when you do it. So anyway, thank you for joining us for day 4. And let's come back tomorrow for day 5. Have a great day, everybody. And we're praying for you. We're praying for you. Okay, see you tomorrow.